Hey there, Capricorn. Welcome to your reading for the week of November 16th. I almost forgot what week it was, really. But this week, by the way, people have been asking what decks I use, so I'm going to start announcing that at the beginning of my readings. This week I'm using a deck called Arcana, and it's by a company called Dead on Paper. You can either Google Dead on Paper, and their website comes right up, or you can go to my About section on my YouTube where I'm going to start listing all the decks I use with links to the decks on their various websites. They're kind of all over the place, so I'm going to put it in one location so people can find it more easily. But that's that. This week you have an interesting week, finally. Not so focused on... well, I shouldn't say that because it looks like you're going to be working really hard, but you start off with the Nine of Clubs, which is an interesting card. It's a card of success. It's a card of working hard. It's a card of achievement. It's a card of recognition as well. With this card, you could receive some recognition at work or even on like social media. If you're on YouTube or you do anything on social media like Instagram or anything like that, you could be recognized for something this week. So push extra hard. Whenever this comes up, sometimes people say, oh, I wasn't recognized this week. But what this card really says is that the energy is available. So do everything you possibly can to be recognized, and you will be recognized this week with this card. It's a card that just allows that to happen. It makes it easier. So like I said, if you create YouTube videos, go out and create 100 videos. I know that sounds crazy, but that's what this card rewards. And you know, it's all about giving yourself as many chances as you possibly can, is really what it is. So do as much as you can to be recognized. But this is a card of success. It's a card of working hard. I think you're going to be working really hard this week, because you have the Three of Spades coming up next, which is a card that asks you to watch your health. It's a card that says you'll probably be working very hard this week, but make sure to also get plenty of rest, drink plenty of water, all of those things that are important for your health with this card, because this is like a warning card. It doesn't say something will happen, but it just says don't allow something to happen to your health by, you know, overworking yourself, stressing yourself out, any of those things. Really pay attention to your health this week with this card. Next, you have the Queen of Hearts, which finally, maybe a little bit of love coming in for Capricorn. This is definitely love on the table, possibly for some of you Capricorns out there. It doesn't feel like all of you, to be honest. I know a lot of you have been, you know, asking me about that, and like I've said to a lot of Capricorns, it really feels like the beginning of 2016 is when love starts to kick in for Capricorns, and you know, they can finally experience that, which, you know, most Capricorns is like either you've been single forever or you've been in one relationship forever, one type of relationship. But that is going to be changing. Queen of Hearts can bring somebody to you. It can also be your mother bringing you advice, or a mother-like figure, so maybe like an aunt or something along those lines. So if that happens, definitely pay attention to their advice. It would be good advice that you'd want to take this week, especially coming up in this position. Next, and finally, you have the Four of Spades, which can indicate minor problems in the home. And by minor problems, I mean things that really don't matter. But this card also asks you to not create any problems in your home. If you have kids in your house, or your spouse, or a, you know, boyfriend, girlfriend, whatever it may be, this card says if anything happens this week, don't engage in arguments, because they're going to turn into something much bigger if you do. This card's like one of those things where, if say your kids don't do the dishes, that's the example I always use. If your kids don't do the dishes and you want them to do the dishes, don't create a battle with your kids this week. Next week, give it to them, is what I say, you know, for not doing the dishes. But this week, it's really important that you don't create any conflict in your home for whatever reason, because it could blow up to be something much bigger that you don't need to do. So just kind of let things go, as hard as that can be this week in the home. Like I said, if there are little things that annoy you, engage next week. Or if somebody you live with starts an argument with you this week, just let it go. Just say, you know what? You're right, and just let it go, because this card can create really big issues if you engage in those arguments in the home and things like that, so don't allow that to happen. But other than that, you have a great week, especially with that Nine of Clubs. You have a lot of opportunity with that Nine of Clubs that you haven't seen in a long time, so embrace it, enjoy your week, and thank you for watching.